Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description. From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gerry Kissell.
Spock, we've gone on an away mission to a new planet called 1984.
Bring in Ensign Michael. She'll go down and fix everything.
Make sure to have a couple of red shirts. Yeah, it's like I want to do a shirt that says, it's all bright red and it's in white lettering in a Star Trek looking logo. It says, I went on an away mission, all I got was this stupid red shirt. Hey guys, this is Pop Culture Minefield, coming to you from 1984 with Keith.
And Gary.
And our friend,
Chris.
Yes!
Oh my God, Chris, thanks for showing up.
He's probably one of the busiest guys in this town. And that's why I always find it funny when someone acts like they're busy. And they say that to me, and I'm like going, do you understand? I've got 3 to 4 projects going at one time. And still, I'm never as busy as this guy. Because he not only does 1984 here in Springfield, Missouri, he also has the 1984 in Branson. And he also hosts one of the coolest game conventions around called G.A.M.E, or just G.A.M.E.
Listen.
And the game is actually an acronym which means
Gaming Arts, Media, and Entertainment Expo.
woohoo!
We added Expo to the end now because Expo was the name and then it kept getting called GameCon or Game, so it's Game Expo now.
Game Expo. And it's of course at the Expo Center.
There you go.
And so, and of course, I met him the first time. Actually, I met Scott before I met you.
Right.
And I immediately wanted to be a part of their con. And even though it is not really a comic-related one, I want to go every time I have a chance. And I've only missed one when I moved to Arizona. And so we plan on being here for this year.
Yeah.
And in fact, we want to do the show from the con. And of course, we'll do interviews with him and Scott and everybody involved. But this guy is so busy. And I was unaware, Keith told me, that he was also, like me, a graphic designer. And so he's part of the competition.
I think there's plenty of work out there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so.
Yeah, I'm always kicking work away. I'm like, no, I do not want to do that logo with a donkey. Pudding pie. No, I really don't want to do all that. But one of the things we want to talk about was the whole thing that brought about you doing this arcade, because this arcade is dedicated to the 80s.
Yeah.
Which you were an 80s kid.
Yeah.
We were teens in the 80s. You were a little younger, but we were all 80s kids.
Right.
And what inspired you to make this arcade?
Well, as we say, we always kind of went at it backwards in a way. It started off really as the idea of Devin Durham and Lincoln Whistler, and yes, getting back there, arguing with me. So we had an ever-growing collection of machines, and they were looking at opening basically a kind of private clubhouse. We're going to rent a space in one of the offices downtown, and then if you had a machine, you had a key to the clubhouse. Basically, you bring your machine in, so we'd all these machines all together, and be kind of that private thing. But then the more people heard about it, the more people wanted in. And some people were like, I don't have a machine, but I'll pay dues. So it's going to turn into this kind of like dude membership.
A club.
A club, yeah. And then it kept getting bigger. More people heard about it. We're like, no, I don't know if we can handle like 100 people having keys to this place, you know. So we're like, well, maybe we should have hours. If we're going to have hours, then might as well let the public come in. If we're going to let the public come in, we might as well not use the office space and just make it a front, retail front. So it kind of then turned into like, okay, we'll just make an 80s arcade then. And so now it's kind of we always say we're like the tagline for our Branson place is not just an 80s arcade, because here, as you can tell, like this room alone is decorated up all the Ghostbusters. Like it's you never saw anything like this in the 80s. It's we call it like an 80s time capsule. We've got like decorations and memorabilia and signed posters and classic toys and all sorts of stuff up on the wall. So we try to get that in a good way that TGI Fridays feel. Like once upon a time, you go to TGI Fridays and see all the crap on the walls everywhere. Mm-hmm. They got rid of that a long time ago, but we still hold pull that idea, like, pull that junk on the walls, you know. So it was a lot of fun. You look around, you're like, oh my gosh, look, there's that toy I hadn't seen since I was 14 years old, you know. So yeah, people come in there all the time pointing at stuff. So that's the whole idea, just bring back the memories as well as the games, you know. So yeah.
So now, is there a basic difference between this 1984 and the one that you have now in Branson?
Theme and style-wise, no. Sheer space, yes. This place is about, I think we're about somewhere close to 3,000 square feet, maybe somewhere there, maybe a little over. I know it's less than 4,000. It's 7,000 square feet down there. It's huge. We've got currently down in Branson about 50 or so video games and about a dozen or so pinball. We're aiming to have 100 machines down there someday.
Wow.
It's a lot of space. Here in our place, at the apex, like all crammed, you know, wall to wall, we would sit close to 80, like 70 something, but that's packed full. About a dozen of our machines were down there, and it's actually better upstairs because it's not so. It was overcrowded upstairs, it really was.
So it's larger.
It's a lot larger.
And so what I'm hearing here is the difference between Disneyland and Disney World.
Basically, yeah. It's kind of like that, a little bit extra stuff there.
This is Disneyland.
Yeah.
And the one in Branson is Disney World.
Or it will be at some point. It's you know, we're about the same as far as, well, you know, they just have bigger stuff. Like we have the big bad boombox down there, and I don't know if you've seen the videos or the pictures of it. It's bigger than that wall, I think, and taller than this room. It's actually in the space we've got there. There's a handle that goes on top of the boombox that we can't use. We can't put it on. We can't put the handle on it. It's practically about a foot from the ceiling right now. So yeah, it's this big, huge. It's like a boombox, but it's a big, giant thing. So stuff like that has found a home, which is great because people come in. Yeah, the other day I took a video of a kid dancing in front of it. He was up there dancing. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's dream job.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I like the games because I came here one night. I was up and around with you guys. We went around. You were out of town, I think. And I, of course, my favorite game that I wanted to play was Being Serviced.
Oh, that happens. Yeah.
Which was, I can't remember. I think it was Tron. I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And
Tron blows a lot of fuses.
Yeah.
It does.
What?
It had one last week, but it was one of those things. Like last week, it went down like a Friday or Saturday when I was here. We basically just put a sign up. Unless something we know we can fix. But then the next Wednesday or Thursday when Jason's in, Devin's brother, he opens it up, pulls it out, opens it up, pokes around, replaces the fuse, it's working. So, but yeah, some stuff like that's easy fix. And I'm not the fix-it guy; I'm the design guy. So I can replace light bulbs and starters, and I actually repaired the other day a credit button. The wire come loose, and I actually stripped wires and did that thing and put it back together. I know how to do that. That's about it. Beyond that, I'm like, I'll wait till somebody else looks at it. But as we say, something breaks every day. It's almost a mantra. Something breaks every day. Something will break tonight. Yeah,
it's just inevitable.
It's just inevitable because they're all 35, headed for 40 years old. And when they were built in the 80s, they did not plan on making these things last.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the games right now.
Yeah.
This is such a cool place, and what I'm going to do is I'll make sure to run some footage walking through the arcade to play over when we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But what else we want to talk about?
Well, first of all, it's Saturday, so it's our 76th episode.
Yeah, 76th episode. Look at us. We're important.
76.
That's what I was thinking when I wrote it.
The spirit of 76.
You definitely tell how old we are.
And I actually got on that train when it went around in 76. That's how old I am.
I was in junior high, so I'm not that young. I'm 52, 53 in a few weeks.
Oh shit, and you are close in age.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 55.
Together really well.
We're the same age. So see, you and Keelan Reeves are the same age, and we're the same age.
Yeah, because Keelan and I have so much in common.
Get shot out a lot. Sorry.
God only knows. I'm sure there are a lot that would like to shoot me in my mouth. I just saw an advert for a T-shirt with Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, wearing this T-shirt and talking about how he needs a speed bump between his brain and his mouth to slow him down. Because it's always gotten me in trouble when I was younger, real trouble. Now I have a filter, but it's it's like a step down from what it used to be, because up here it used to just be spontaneous. I would say something and then I go, I shouldn't have said that. I really said that in the wrong crowd, didn't I? Now I have a tendency of going, and then saying it.
You take a pause.
I pause. Should I say this? But let's see. Should we talk about G.A.M.E or what should we talk about?
You know what? First of all, do you follow E3, which is getting ready to start up?
I
Kind
of, in the fact that it's kind of the zeitgeist and it's there, and I hear announcements and all, but I've never actually sat down and watched live footage or whatever. I see like clips and highlights afterward. My son Gabriel, the youngest one, he's actually always tuned into it, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to go to it someday with him, but now he's kind of off on his own life. At this point, he's in the Air Force and he's stationed in North Carolina, and he's a videographer for the Air Force. So yeah. And so he's kind of got his own life. But anyway, so yeah, I've been aware of it and wanted to go to it at some point, but mostly with him.
Yeah.
So I've never really have.
It's going to be, I think that we're going to get some really cool stuff this year.
Yeah.
And I'm suspecting we're going to get something for Star Wars there. Because they're talking about Comic-Con being the next trailer, but I could not see them not showing something at this new convention.
I think it's just basically going to be probably another Knights of the Old Republic game is what I would probably do. Given the announcement that that's the next movie series that they're going to work on, you know, you might as well just start putting more stuff out there, or at least relaunching some of the games that
Maybe we'll finally find out what's going to happen with Rian Johnson. Huh? You think? I don't think so either. I bet you we hear nothing about him.
Well,
And this is where the dick in me comes out.
Rian Johnson's got his own thing.
Yeah.
But look, the big thing is that as of this recording, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has already opened.
Oh my God, that was so amazing to watch that video.
For those that haven't seen it, you could pretty much go anywhere on YouTube after you watch this show and after you click the like button.
Before it got released to the public, we actually got to see a private video from friends of mine that did a lot of work for Star Wars, and they shared the video privately, and of course Keith got to see it, and it was really amazing. That was so awesome, getting that. That was hours before anybody else got to see what happened there.
Yeah.
And see Billy D, Mark Hamill, Bob Iger,
and Harrison Ford.
And then him dedicating it to Peter Mayhew was really amazing.
It's basically they just opened up a new portion of Disneyland that you're obviously just going to have to stand in line for hours to get to.
Yeah.
But the other big thing,
I'm so going to do that.
But here's the other thing. One of the things about Galaxy's Edge is that it's not so much standing in line for that. I mean, it's the individual places within Galaxy's Edge, like the Millennium Falcon ride, but also they have a cantina there, of which they serve alcohol. This is the first Disney-related whatever where they're serving alcohol, and it's within.
I bet it's a 3-drink limit.
Some of those parents might need more.
I know, I sure did. I love you, Zoe. Dad, I started puberty. Oh, I need to drink. That was a real thing that happened in the house when she burst in the door yelling that. And I'm like, oh my God.
What every father wants to hear.
Exactly. I know you got to get going here, so before we go, anything else we want to ask Chris
I just want to mention G.A.M.E is October 11, 12, 13
Okay.
at the Springfield Expo Center. Early. Say it again.
No, what?
That's right. Tickets are on sale now. SpringfieldGame.com.
SpringfieldGame.com.
Yeah, it's easy to remember. Early price is $25 now. It'll be full price $35 at the door, so get it early, save some money.
And they can follow you and G.A.M.E on Facebook and on Twitter.
Yes.
and Instagram.
Follow me on Instagram. I don't let much of a game on Instagram, but I do a lot of Instagram posting for some reason.
You love it.
And this is a regional convention that's worth coming to. It's always fun. They always got a lot of cool people. So, and we're going to be there.
I want to promote that Satine Phoenix is going to be one of our guests of honor, along with returning guest of honor Keith Baker and his partner Jennifer Ellis.
Cool.
They are together, two other studios who put out Elamat and Gloom and Action Cats and all sorts of games.
Wow.
And Satine Phoenix was just recently on Dungeons & Dragons Live, if anybody watched that over the last two weeks ago. So we're really proud to have her come join us. And they're the kind of guests that we want. That she said when we booked her that she doesn't want to sit in the booth. She goes, I want to come in, I'll do these 2-3 panels, and then I want to play. So people will have a chance to actually play in 2, maybe 3 games with her.
Wow.
So yeah, and we'll be announcing how to get involved in that soon. We've got to come up with a structure to manage that. So that's kind of guess we want. We want people to come and enjoy and leave with memories of having played really cool games and met really cool people. That's our focus. I mean, we've got our exhibitors, we've got our guests of honor, but we want people to leave with, I played this really cool D&D game, or I never played Traveler before, and I played this board game, I'm going to go out and get it now. So we want to experience that. So, yeah.
Well, for anyone that's never done any event like this, I mean, obviously, they can come and experience, or they can even, if they would like, work with you guys, maybe volunteer to work for the weekend.
Yeah, actually, if you'll come to our website and just volunteer 10 hours for the whole weekend, and that's just it's basically 5 2-hour shifts, but it's spread out over the whole weekend. So a couple here, a couple there, and you get a free pass for the whole weekend.
That's amazing.
And we really need the help. And also, not only do you get a free pass, but you get a free T-shirt, volunteer shirt. You get access to the lair, which gives you also free food and drink. So it takes care of that. And so it's a lot of fun. A lot of ways to. And if people want kind of a preview of the kind of fun we have coming up June 23rd, I hope I have the date right. Picnic at the End of the Universe will be at Felshire Park, and it's in Felshire, at the Pavilion, and it's an all-day from like 11 to 6 thing, completely free. We said people will bring a side dish to help share, and then we provide all the hamburgers and hot dogs through our sponsors and stuff. Yeah. And also to bring your games, because a lot of people people either gaming on the pavilion, not in direct sunlight, we're all nerds, and or except the amp guard folks that are like the jocks of our universe are out there hitting each other's foam swords. So that sort of stuff goes on. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So
wow. Now before you go, one last question.
Yeah.
Of course, Saturday morning episode, we're going to be talking about Saturday morning cartoon. What was your favorite cartoon?
Wow. It's hard to say because there were several. Okay, so Thunder the Barbarian was the only one that I actually had a cassette audio recorder and would take a cardboard box. Oh, yeah, console TV like everybody did. The speaker was right up here.
You record the
audio. I took a cardboard box and created a funnel and then set the thing there, so I get this audio recording of Thunder the Barbarian. So I guess I kind of like that show the most.
Wow.
So, but then I would later listen to basically audio form of Thunder the Barbarian later. Because nobody had a VCR, not my neck of the woods. I mean, John did, but his parents were doctor and they were rich, But nobody I knew had a VCR, so I just recorded.
And it was CBS, right?
No, that's ABC.
Was it on ABC?
Okay.
All I remember is that in some of the comics that year, they would promote the Saturday morning lineups, and I remember the ad for Thunder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was an ABC
and
one.
the thing that I loved about it was, so I was playing D&D at that time, obviously, but it was this fantasy world as opposed to apocalyptic fantasy world because of the thing that.
And that, of course, leads to its connection to Herculoids and Space Ghost.
Yeah. So that was I always wanted to have a role playing game in that world. So I might eventually run a D&D game that's in a barbarian world or something. So because you could do that. So yeah.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So.
I would almost show up for that.
I'll have to schedule it.
Wow.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
Thank
coming,
you.
Chris.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
you.
letting us shoot the show here.
No problem.
Remember, Chris Stewart, game, and of course, 1984.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay.
Anytime.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Look forward to having you on again.
No problem. All right. See you guys.
See ya. And now, I guess we'll move on.
Yes.
To the regular part of our show, which is we're going to be talking about Saturday morning
Mhm.
cartoons. And of course, the show we're going to talk about this time is Herculoids.
You gotta love it. You again, there's, for me, Hanna-Barbera, just everything they did from pretty much Johnny Quest on into the end of the 60s, all the way up to really Scooby-Doo in 69. Those guys were just cranking it out.
Yeah, and it followed the same themes
Yeah.
as Johnny Quest, because Johnny Quest kind of like set the standard.
Yeah.
And of course, we already talked about what happened with that show, that it just was not going to get that second season because everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
But these shows followed the same way of storytelling, same kind of style of artwork, realistic.
Mhm.
And of course, Hanna-Barbera had established the 18 frames per second style of animation, repetitive backgrounds, or very little movement and just the mouth or eyes move.
But not in a very clutch cargo 50s way, more of a...
I found another cartoon I forgot about. It's a sci-fi one that uses the real human lips
Yeah.
on it. It's so freaky to watch that. It really is.
It freaked me out as a child.
It's like, why do their mouths look so weird? I gotta tell you, Tommy, and you'd see like this cartoon and these human lips are said like, we need to go down to the well. Somebody get some dynamite. What a weird show. But they were really good episodes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you watch them, they're really good stories. They were Johnny Quest. I mean, there was a lawsuit between Clutch Cargo and Johnny Quest. A lot of people don't know about that because Clutch Cargo sued them. I think it was thrown out of court.
Yeah.
You know, dismissed, not thrown out of court, dismissed. But the fact is, you know, I understood his argument, but the fact is, no. Johnny Quest is actually a better show.
Way better.
Much better. But now the Herculoids, they had some really cool stuff with what they did is they created what looked like a barbarian time, Neolithic or something. But the fact is, it was science fiction. And
it occurred, and it wasn't on Earth. It was its own planet. So for me, it was always the fact that you could have these humans, a family really, and these creatures that lived with them. But they weren't just creatures. They were also really family members.
Yeah, they were characters.
And it was just, man, for me, it was just watching that growing up. It was different than anything else on television because it had that kind of barbaric yet science fiction sort of bit.
And it had an absolute connection to Space Ghost.
Yes, it did.
And they had shared characters and worlds. And in the comic books, we actually see them get together.
Oh, yeah.
In the DC Comics, the one that you got me to read.
That's right.
And I was like, oh my God, they're having a cookout. Camp out with a campfire with the Herculoids. Oh!
Well, the Herculoids weren't the only ones included in an adventure. It was Johnny Quest, it was the Herculoids, it was Space Ghost, just with those three alone, but it was everybody. It was even Scooby-Doo, I think. And it was just, that is an incredible comic, DC Comics. Good on you for doing it. I think all of that's been collected now into a bound edition of every comic they put out for that. And so if you are a big Johnny Quest fan, or at least a big Hanna-Barbera fan, you should seek those out. Because really, all of the DC comic Hanna-Barbera stuff they put out last year is really good stuff, including their updating of Scooby-Doo, which I thought was really kind of cool.
I've not watched it yet, but I have it added to my queue to watch. I love Scooby-Doo, and always will.
See, unlike you, I'm very particular. I love the original Scooby-Doo cartoon from '69. Not a big fan of any of the other things that have come after.
What, Scrappy?
God, I hate that character.
I don't think anybody liked Scrappy.
I couldn't stand.
I like him.
I couldn't stand any of the other versions that they did. The original classic Scooby-Doo that is now currently celebrating its 50th anniversary this year is what I'm a big fan of.
I'm a fan of the original Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
Yes.
And I did watch the Laugh Olympics, and I watched the later iteration of Scooby. Not a big fan of it, but I did watch it. But I enjoyed the movies that James Gunn wrote.
I didn't mind those. I did not mind them.
My problem with them is the fact that it made some things real. Whereas the rule of Scooby-Doo was always there was no ghosts, there were no monsters.
Yeah.
There was always Old Man Smithers. You know, and it raised a generation to be skeptical. Because I always felt that part of my
skeptical of
skepticism.
anybody over 30.
Yeah. You know, because don't believe in ghosts. Ghosts aren't real. And I became a skeptic because Scooby-Doo kind of taught me to be that way.
Well, and also weed makes you paranoid, but we're not really talking about a certain character of that show.
Like, dude! Ruh-roh, Reggie! Ruh-roh. Anyway, so I guess we can do some quick trivia for the Herculoids, which one of the things you brought up was, of course, that it was science fiction here on a planet. What was the name of that planet?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And it had two names. The first name was the name that was in the original series, and then they changed it when they repackaged the show to be part of, what did they call it, the Space Star shows, which I never saw.
Mm-hmm.
I only saw it in its original form. But what was the name of the planet that they were from? And also, what relationship is that planet with another of the cartoon characters from Hanna-Barbera?
Well, that second name, I have no idea what that is. And I'm fizzing on the first name. This is looking kind of bad.
Ba-ba. Well, I'm going to go give the answer. It's Amzad.
Okay.
But it was later renamed to Quasar during that Space Stars show, which I never saw.
Yeah.
I never knew about the Quasar. But Amzad is also related to Space Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was mentioned in the Molten Monsters of Moltar, in which the Hercules made a brief guest appearance in the episode. I don't remember that. So, let's see, what would be another one? You got any trivia that you're thinking of?
Oh, wow. Okay. Can you name all of the creatures from the Hercules?
I never remember the two characters, the rhino or the big gorilla looking thing.
It was Leap and Gloop, because, cool names, and plus what? I was fine.
Xandor and Terra, or Tara.
Yeah, those are the humans.
Right. And then Domo.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't remember the rhino's name. Or was that the rhino? I never remember their names.
And they featured so prominently in the comics. Oh man, I am having.
Oh shoot! I forgot Zok, the dragon with the laser tail.
Now, how cool was that creature?
When I first saw it, I'm like, what is wrong with that thing? Why is it doing that? That looks so weird. Wrapping its tail forward like it looked like something else.
Now, Hollywood, you really need to get on this. This would make an excellent live-action adventure.
No, Domo was the boy.
Yes. Guess what?
Then Zok was the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Igu was the giant rock ape looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And here's some tribute for you. I remember this. Who voiced him? Famous actor to nerds.
You mean one of the creatures? Or who was
The giant rocket character.
Oh,
He never talked, he just made grunting noises. Things like that. And this actor is famous for also making similar noises on another show.
Dawes Butler. Dawes Butler, I should say.
No, but you said Butler and it threw me. Because he played a butler on another show, live action. It was the butler on a black and white comedy about scary people living in a house, and he had a theme song.
Oh, that was Fred, not Fred, but I can see his face. Yeah, Lurch from the Addams Family.
Ted Cassidy, man.
Ted Cassidy was the bomb.
He was the voice of Igu. And then we had Tundro.
Mm-hmm.
He was the rhino. I did not know this. He was voiced by a person too, Mike Road. And then, of course, my personal favorites, Gleep and Gloop. And those weird noises they would make. And apparently, they recorded their voices one time for all the different sounds that they would make and just replayed them throughout the series over and over again because they didn't want to play the actor and keep doing it. Well, Hanna-Barbera were cheap. They were cheap AF.
But they kept us entertained, so that's all right.
Kept me out of trouble, let me tell you.
Especially on Saturday mornings.
Yep. And let's see. Last but not least, let's talk about the commercials. Because a lot of people, in the 80s, cartoons changed. The Saturday morning cartoons became a promotional tool for toys.
Yeah.
So cartoons were created specifically to sell toys, He-Man in particular. Okay, but that was different before.
Yeah.
The primary backer for Saturday morning cartoons that helped start the whole thing was General Mills and Kellogg's.
Mm-hmm.
And you would get these great, like, animated cartoon commercials with, like, my favorite was Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. Remember the Crunch Berry creature? I love that dude. The Freakies was another cereal that came out in the early 70s.
Oh man, you know what?
I had all of them. I had all the toys.
Yeah, I had some of the toys, and I was never able to get all of them.
One of the best damn cereals ever. Now, another one that came out when we were kids was Frankenberry, Count Chocula, and Boo Berry, but there was also a mummy one, and I don't remember what his flavor was. He was not long lived. It was like dead people flavored. Tastes just like mummy. It's dry. So, one of my favorite commercials for cereal and favorite cereals was Quisp and Quake.
Yeah.
And they were so big into these cartoons that they began to promote other things within the cereal, which was a competition between the cereals from General Mills, which was Quisp and Quake. Now, Quisp was a disc-shaped version, flying saucer version of Captain Crunch. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And Quake was just Captain Crunch. It was the same cereal, and just cut in different shapes. And Quake was, of course, looked like Dudley Do-Right, Mountie-looking dude. And there was this competition, and you had to vote as to which cereal would survive.
Yeah,
would it be Quisp or Quake?
That was before the whole, hey, did we kill Robin or not?
Yeah, way before this, like 15 years to almost 17 years before that.
Yeah.
And this was amazing because you had your vote stub. The kids would cut it out of the back of the cereal box and then send it in. And of course, Quisp, the alien, won. Quake had to go. But amazingly, we'd still find his cereal. He just wasn't in the commercials anymore. It's just Quisp in the commercials.
Wow.
Cool little pear-shaped body alien with a Q on his belt, green costume, black pants, and a big head with an antenna.
Yep.
And a ray gun. And I even got a toy version of him once, and I wish I still had some of those things I had as a kid. So many cool things. But, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to add to that stuff?
I'm good with it.
All right. Well, this is our first episode from 1984 in Springfield, Missouri. That's Keith.
That's Gerry.
And this is Pop Culture Minefield. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like buttons. Post a comment. You got any questions? Want us to talk about a show? Say something. Want to correct us? Correct us. Anyway, thanks. And remember to go to
1984.
online.
Check them out either, online or actually on Facebook. And also don't forget G.A.M.E, Game Expo, I should say. And of course, Chris, who you can follow, Chris Stewart, who you can follow on Instagram.
I follow him.
So do I.
And so that's it, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a good Saturday. Drink all that milk. All right.